Are you there with us?
Yes, yes, yes. So good morning. We can get started now if you like.
Lovely. So, for those of you who don't know Rennie, and I think everybody knows Rennie, for those of you who don't know Rennie, I want to highlight the accolades that Rennie has achieved in the company to date. Rennie started off in Opulence Global in 2007, and he started off with Opulence Global as a lifestyle advisor with a side hustle. This was his sidekick. He comes from a very strong computer um, computer technology background, and when he started off his business as a side hustle, just to gain some extra money, within 1 year he was making over $100,000. This says a lot about Rennie. Rennie sticks to his vision board. His mind is conditioned. He is focused on the goal. In 16 months, he has acquired over 28,000 members on his team. So he has quadrupled his success over and over and over. He drives a Tesla with Opulence Global, funded by Opulence Global, which he has earned. So he understands the value of money and exchanging money in terms of effort. Rennie continues to position himself as a leader. He is valued by our shareholders in our company, plays a major role and remains focused. Recently, his personal investment was a $5 million home, and he enjoys traveling with his family. He allows them to experience the wealth. He's teaching his children discipline, focus, returns. One of his sons won a championship in the Olympics as a tennis in the field of tennis, and they continue to mirror their father's um, disposition in terms of what he has set as a pattern that they should follow. So, without further ado, this gentleman has earned and continues to show leadership, very much treasured by all of us. Without further ado, I'm going to turn you all over to our key speaker, Mr. Rennie Lau. Come on, let's send some hearts, love, warm. Come on, let's send some appreciation to him this morning. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, of course, Shailan, for stepping up and being our host of the past week or so now. And again, it's a great way to, yeah, really step into the role of future leadership and, of course, becoming a presenter. So again, just want to congratulate you on doing all of that. And again, we love, love, love your energy. And of course, wishing everyone on the call so far a very good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. And of course, I do have 1 hour here to share some incredible training with you. And today, I really wanted to talk about the compensation plan and sort of do a different spin of the version. Because normally, when I talk about the comp plan, I'm either trying to make it very simple and we have a shorter version of the comp plan, or I'm trying to make a very, very detailed video that's excruciating detail. Um, and of course, today I thought to do the compensation plan in a way that's sort of designed to talk to the people that have had experience before, in the industry, of course, of direct sales, or who really, have been part of other companies. And because there's so many aspects about our compensation plan that is just completely different than other companies. And we have resolved so many of the struggles, the issues, the challenges, the pitfalls, the blockages in other companies. All right. So again, I am actually here at my son's tennis place over here. So I apologize if there's any noise. I see some people grabbing some ping pong rackets soon. Oh no. But hopefully with my uh, noise reduction AirPods, you don't hear the ping pong balls. Okay, so, but we're going to dive right into this. And of course, Cheryl Ann, I just sent you a request to allow me to share my screen or just make me a host. That might be easier. So either you can allow me to share my screen.
It's
Okay, so
done.
diving
Beautiful.
right, yes, yes, thank you, Cheryl Ann. Thank you so much. So diving into the compensation plan, of course, is just one of the most exciting things for me, having a background, of course, in computer science. And I love to just look at these things. In fact, for those who don't know, being in this company for 19 years, I've had so many people ask me, oh, Renee, could you take a look at this plan and compare it to ours, or look at that plan and compare it to ours? And of course, over a long period of time now, I have, done so many of these kind of comparisons. And I thought, what, why not just store it online rather than just sort of, doing one by one emails? And I've actually now have comprised of a list of many companies actually on my Google Drive. And on my Google Drive, if you don't have the link to my Google Drive, I've made it available to everybody. Just going to share again what that looks like to all of you. So again, here is actually my Google Drive where I store all of my documents here. And you'll see under Complan comparisons, this is the list of companies that I have actually compared over the years, and sort of apples to apples. And really what I'm trying to compare here is what we call the earning per distributor ratio, which means if you had, 1,000 people in company ABC and the same 1,000 people in company Opulence Global, and they're each contributing the exact same amount of, 150 per month Canadian, into their auto ship or their smart buy, which company pays you more, which has a higher retail profit or a real retail profit, which one has a better sign up bonus or the bonuses. So, and yeah, so here's my comparison there. Again, it's been a collection since, I really got started here, but just want to show all of you that as well too. Okay, let's dive into the compensation plan, of course. And again, I'm assuming that you would have seen the packages by now. And of course, you can see here, there's about 14 different ways of making money. And I'm going to do my best to go over these as quickly as possible, but as clearly as possible as well, too. And so, okay, now the one thing that we're going to talk about in the very beginning that's really important because we really have evolutionized the auto ship. As you know, most companies out there, they have a monthly auto ship. And what ends up happening is that you're sort of paying for products every single month that gets shipped to your home. And a lot of people don't like that because over time, what happens is that these products start to pile up in your doorstep. Perhaps you can't finish all the products or sell all the products, and now those products start to expire. And so, it kind of became like the black sheep where you kind of want to have it, but people kind of hate it as well too. And I'm so proud that, our CEO has been able to really get rid of this issue. And that's with, of course, with the auto ship. So I just want to double check here. Are you guys hearing a lot of background noise? Because I have my AirPods on noise cancellation. Cheryl Ann,
Just a
how,
little, just a little, just a little. But I mean, I want to reinforce at this point how flexible we can be when we're working. Rennie is supporting his kids in tennis, and here he has, he's on the call. So we're just getting a little background. So, I mean, it's understood, Rennie. Thank you. You
thank
can
you, thank
continue.
you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. As long as you can make it what I'm hearing. Yeah. Again, that is the beauty, is being able to just do this business wherever you are in the world. So it's my first time in this place here. So anyways, what we've done here to remove this auto ship is an incredible feature called the shopping credit. So what happens here is instead of having to auto ship products every single month, all we're doing now is simply paying the same monthly 150, and we can leave that monthly 150 into our shopping credits. And we can use these credits towards buying whatever you want, to buying whatever you want, again, whenever you want. Some people like to save up the shopping credits towards buying a timepiece or a diamond ring or for the fountain of life or for their toothpaste. It's so flexible. So we have this freedom and flexibility with our shopping credits, and people absolutely love that feature about our company. Okay, so of course, here are again are the packages that we have always talked about. Now, the prices that you're seeing here, we are actually have made a change, by the way, because we actually have removed the shipping costs from the actual packages, and so it's really $299. 1,300. So just remove $45 basically from these packages. So 299, 1,300, 1,900, and of course 40 well, $44.95 is actually correct. So this one over here. And again, when you purchase the package, what's actually happening is you're going to be receiving that money in shopping credits. You can see here, here are the shopping credits that you receive when you launch as the packages, right? So if you join $299, you get back $299 retail value of shopping credits. If you're 1,300, you get back, of course, $1,300 of shopping credits. You have the 1945. Again, now for the 1945 package or the $1,900 package, you're getting back $1,300 of shopping credits. Plus, here's the free bonuses. You get a bonus of $1,000. So grand total for 1,900, you're getting back $2,300 of shopping credits. And of course, in grand total for the Lifestyle Advisor Designer Experience, or the LADE, for the 4,495, you will be getting back over $10,000 worth of shopping credits. Okay, so but we're going to move more into, of course, the comp plan. Again, there's many ways to upgrade by paying the actual difference to go from a brand partner to all the way up to the LADE by paying your way there. Or also, of course, you can launch your way. And by the way, there's going to be a massive change happening, a big call happening sometime in May. We've actually had a bit of a revamp in the packages, as well, of course, also a revamp when it comes to how this works. But currently, when you start as a BP and you can launch 6 other brand partners, you do get a free upgrade to the LA. And that, of course, is going to be becoming a bit easier with our new changes being announced of May. So stay tuned for that. You can also launch enough people to get a free upgrade, or even to help your first generation through their launches, get yourself as a free upgrade to an LA as well too, okay? So now, in terms of the first way of earning income, that of course is retail profits. So that's real simple. You buy wholesale and you sell at the retail, okay? And of course, people always ask a question about Fountain of Life. Well, you know, right now, the standard biggest discount that we get, not just for FOL, but for all the products, is a 37% discount. The LA only has a 30% discount, and the BP has a 20% discount. So by joining as an LAP or higher, you have the maximum discount, okay? So obviously, the retail profits, the higher the package that you have, then obviously the higher your retail profits you're going to make, because you have a higher discount. So when you're selling the products, you're going to make more money, okay? So that's how retail profits work. It's pretty straightforward, and most people don't need to understand too much about how that works. Yeah, you can sell directly from your website or sell it with cash and carry as well too, okay? The second way, of course, is the wholesale profits, and that's where you are going to, it's essentially a sign-up bonus, but we call it the wholesale profit, okay? So depending on which package you are, and as long as you are like the top 3 packages, so LA, LAP, or LADE, you're going to receive the highest when it comes to this bonus. So if you were the highest 3 packages and you introduce a brand partner, which is the $299 package, you would earn $50. If you introduce a LA, you earn $300. And if you launch a LAP or LADE, you would have earned $350. So that's per person. Every single time that you introduce somebody, you will be earning a wholesale profit. So if you are a brand partner, you can see here that your profits are a lot less compared to being the higher package. So most people will upgrade right away to a LA or higher to capture the full wholesale profits. Okay, and that's how that works. Now, I get really excited when we talk about the binary plan, okay, the team commissions. And that's because this is really your lifelong residual passive income. Now, we are a binary cycle, and I have to say that it's really important that our binary is unlike the other binaries that are out there in the industry. And to illustrate this, I'm going to open up a Word document here and just write some simple numbers here, okay? Most of the binaries you will see in the industry right now are ones where, and it really irks me when I see this, but they pay you on what's called the smaller leg, or they pay you on the weaker leg, or the pay leg, okay? And basically, you'll see why in a quick second, why I personally don't like it, these kind of plans. So let's say you had company ABC, and on the left team, okay, you had 10,000 volume, and on the right team, you had 20,000 volume. Well, in these companies that pay you, let's say 10% on the smaller leg or the weaker leg, or the pay leg, as you might want to call it, okay? What happens is you will earn 10% on the $10,000. So what's your payout here, guys? Quick math here. What's 10% of $10,000? Of course, I'm sure we all know the answer to that. It's $1,000. That's your payout. Okay. So I'm going to give you the exact same scenario, but now we're going to use Opulence Global. So again, left team, you have 10,000. Right team, you have 20,000. In our company, what we do is we take the 10,000, we take double on the bigger leg. So we're going to add 20,000, and that becomes 30,000. Then we're going to pay you 8.5% commission. And again, you might be thinking, oh, 8.5% looks smaller than 10%, but it's not, because our 8.5% is based upon your small leg and doubled on the pay leg. So your payout is $2,550. So the exact same scenario, the exact same CV, the fact that we actually pay you double on their bigger leg, you're earning 2.5 times payout. Again, would you prefer $1,000 or $2,550? And this is where, when you start to understand the industry, and I've been here for about 19 years, and I guess because of my background in computer science, software engineering, and working for large tech firms like IBM and TELUS, I've designed systems like this before too. You really appreciate what our CEO has done in this company, okay? Now, another key aspect that's really important when it comes to companies that only pay you on the weaker leg, smaller leg, or the pay leg, is that people never care about supporting people on their bigger leg, because they never get paid out on the volume on the bigger leg. They just don't care about those people. They don't really support them. And, most of the top networkers that I speak with, they all agree on this, because compensation plan dictates your behavior. And if you're not getting paid on all of the people in your bigger leg, then you probably don't really care about supporting them. You're like, oh, you know what? It's already big. Let someone else support them, right? But in our company, because you get paid on the bigger leg, you want to support them. You want to help them. And that's why I support every single person, in my team, whether you're on the small leg or you're on the bigger leg, because you get paid out on it at some point in time. Okay. Another really key thing here to talk about, of course, too, is again, I'm really targeting this for more of the sort of people that have experience, but other binaries, like let's say ABC binary, what they do is they tell you, look, the most you can earn uh, per week is $1,000 per week per business center. Okay, we call it a business center. In contrast, Opulence Global, you can earn $20,000 per week per business center. And we give you 3 of them, so that's $60,000 per week. And of course, if you want to have your mom's account, your dad's account, your son, daughter, spouse, whatever, you can have multiple accounts, right? But this is a huge difference, because if you're only getting paid $1,000 per week, like in my first company, USANA, and like Market America, some other companies, and that's the maximum you can ever get paid. What happens is they make you open a second center. So I'm actually going to go back into my thing here. I'm going to actually do a whiteboard to illustrate how crazy this actually is, okay? Where did the whiteboard go? Here we go, whiteboard. So let me show you now on a simple whiteboard why this makes so much of a difference, okay? Can everyone see my whiteboard screen? I believe you can, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can.
Yes, it's
If you're
visible.
enjoying,
It's visible.
thank you so much. If you're enjoying the training, maybe give me some love. I'm not sure if you guys are getting this, but I hope it's a bit different than usual, okay? So again, if you in a company where you only make $1,000, like 1K, okay, per week, let's see here. First, you build one leg, then you build your second leg, right? So once you hit the 1K, well, if you want to make another $1,000 per week, you have to go and build another center for another 1K. But now you're building your third leg, essentially, and now you're also building your fourth leg. Then if you want another $1,000, another 1K over here, now you have to build another leg. That's your fifth leg. And then that's your sixth leg. In other words, if you wanted to earn 20K per week in other companies, you have to build times 2 for every leg is about 40 legs. So, but hold on, the dream of a binary system was to build 2 legs. In Opulence Global, right? You can get paid 20K per week just by building 2 legs, number 1 and number 2. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to build 40 legs to make 20K a week? Or do you want to build 2 legs to make 20K per week? I hope you're seeing why sometimes when you start to look into a lot of details, right? Things start to just like hit you a lot differently, right? Okay. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that quick sort of a dissection off of the main plan here and going, of course, now back to the main comp plan. So I didn't even talk about the binary details yet, but in short, our binary is the most advanced, most fairest, most, everything. You're going to see why a bit more later on. So again, the bicycles here, we pay out every single week. And again, we have 4 different cycle levels, okay? And so you can see here that at our first cycle level, we pay 900, on 900 CV, we pay you $45. Again, I'm doing this training today a bit differently because as I'm talking to other, network marketers, and again, this is really important because a lot of people have heard of a company called Genes, right? Not to pick on any companies, just talking about comp plan, right? So in a company called Genes, what happens is when you have 900 CV, they pay you $35, okay? In contrast, in Opulence Global, I just showed you guys on the actual chart, our 900 CV pays you $45, right? $45. Everyone following so far, correct? Yes? Yes, good, okay. Well, in Genes, they only have 1 cycle. So what happens is if you have 1800 CV in Genes, right, which is double the 900, what is your pay? Because they only have 1 cycle. They have 1 cycle, 900 pays you $35. So if you had double that, 1800 CV, then your payout is $70. Do we follow so far, right? But in our company, 1800 CV, again, look at this chart here, 1800 CV, it pays you $100. We actually pay you a higher amount as you have a higher cycle level. Let's keep going here. So in Genes, if you had 3,600 CV, then we're doubling the 70, which is to 140. In Opulence Global, the exact same CV is paying you how much? 3,600 CV is paying you $220. And of course, you have 4 cycles at 5,400 CV. Okay, this is now going to be basically 6 times or 3 times the amount of 1,800. So 3 times $700, your payout would be $210. But in Optus Global, for the exact same amount, your payout is, again, according to the chart here, $400 in cash and $60 towards your marketing allowance privilege, which goes towards your flights, hotels, meals, taxes, and all that good stuff when you're traveling to expand your business. So would you guys want a payout of $210 or $460? Like sometimes people think, oh my gosh, Renee, your comp plan looks so confusing. But honest to goodness, it's because we're trying to pay you out more money. If you had a comp plan that was like 3 ways of making money, you're not making a lot of money because you have to be creative in designing plans to make sure that you have a perfectly balanced plan for the new person who's signing up to get their bonuses, for the leaders who've been here for 19 years like myself to be cashing out, and of course for the rising stars who go from starting off, they're sponsoring you're transitioning into team supporting, you have to make sure you design a plan that can fit to everyone's need. In the olden days, they only cared about the guy at the very top, and everyone else struggled, right? We have a plan that's really designed to be perfectly balanced from the day that you start till, of course, the day that you never finish. All right. But so again, this is huge because if I were to add a zero, can I add a zero, everybody? Adding a zero, your payout looks like this now. Is that a big difference? That's 2.5 grand difference at this level. And dare I add one more zero for you big top leaders out there who, have made the giant checks before. The same volume you can see here, it's night and day. Okay. So we do have in Opulence Global 4 different cycle levels because as you start to make more teams and bigger teams and more volume, we're going to pay you more and more and more. So where other companies basically stop, our starting point is already higher. Again, why is this happening? It's because you're getting paid on not just the smaller leg, you're getting paid on both of the legs. That's why it's such a huge difference. Okay. And of course, we are a 1/3, 2/3, 50/50, 2/3, 1/3 company. So of the 900 CV that you bring in, of course, you do want to have a 300, 600, or 600, 300, or 450, 450 balancing. Now, again, I'm taking more time on this battery today, people, because it's so important. Here are the uniqueness of our comp plan. One, there's no volume cap. That means that as long as you are in this business, as long as you're paying your monthly 150, there's some people in the company on one leg that have like $20 million of bank volume, $30 million of bank volume. So there's no volume cap. In other companies, they do cap you at a maximum of maybe 1, 2, 3 million per year. And other companies, look at this, we don't even have volume flushing. So in other companies, it's shocking. Every once a year, they flush your volume. I've seen that before. In other companies, here's a scary one. Back to my Word document. Remember how before I was talking about this $1,000 per week maximum income earning? In USANA and Market America, let's say you had all this volume on both your legs and you finally capped out at $1,000 per week. They pay you the $1,000 per week, but guess what happens to the rest of all the volume on your left leg and your right leg? They flush it. Absolutely just disgusting, scary. Okay. We have no volume flushing. We also pay to infinity on both legs and on both legs. Okay, we do have a variable binary cycle payout. This means that we pay on a 1/3, 2/3, 2/3, 1/3, or 50/50. We have infinite carryover of volume. What that means is that this is again very important. Number one, any volume that you don't use this week doesn't disappear. It carries over to the following week. But this is a very important point, and I ask that you really give me a bit more of your attention here, okay? Let's just say in another company, because we have ranks, right? Let's just say based upon your current rank, your income is allowed to be at $1,000 per week. We have that too. So LD1, LD2, the higher you go, the more you can make, right? But let's say in company ABC, let's say you actually made $3,000 this week. What they would do is they would pay you $1,000 because that's your cap at your rank. And let me ask you a question. What do you think happens to the other $2,000? The other $2,000 is gone. The company took it from your volume and didn't pay you out. It's gone. Okay. And that is sad. Income caps. Okay, they're called income caps, basically, right? But luckily, in Opulence Global, I'm going to give you the exact same scenario. You made $3,000 this week. It's going to pay you the $1,000 this week because again, you're a lifestyle advisor, right? You haven't become LD1 yet where it raises. Doesn't matter. The question is, what happens to the other $2,000? The other $2,000 basically gets paid out the next week, or the next week, or the next week, etc. In other words, the $2,000 that you didn't get paid out here, okay, so maybe actually a bit bigger here for you guys to see the whole thing. We don't take the volume from the binary. So we only take enough volume to pay you the $1,000 that week. The rest of the volume, we didn't flush it. We left it in your binary. That means guaranteed next week, guaranteed you get another $1,000. And again, we leave the rest of the volume that we couldn't pay you out on that pays you the following week. So you basically you will never ever lose a single dime in this company because we don't have income caps. You have carryover of volume. It pays to infinity. And another huge thing that we have here, of course, is we have what's called no deranking. In my last company, it's a true story. Some of you also might know the other millionaire. We have the company called Sherry Zhao. Sherry Zhao was actually my sponsor in our previous company. And what happened was she got to a certain rank, like let's call it like no, I don't know, like 1, 2, 3 rank, right? She was level 3, and I was level 2. So she got all these bonuses because she was level 3 and I was level 2. What happened though was when I matched her rank, so when I became a level 3 rank as well too, okay, this what happened to all of her income. Her income shot down like 95% because now I'm the rank. I get paid that stuff, not her. So number one is in our company, ranks do not hurt you. If someone in your team were to surpass your rank, it doesn't hurt you. In fact, in our company, if you could have two LD4s, like one on each side of your teams, and you're simply just a lifestyle advisor, you are set for life. Like you are set for life if that happened to you. All right. Um, but also beyond that is so with me and Sherry, when I surpassed her rank, so now instead of me being level 2, I became level 3, and she was level 3. Now I became level 4, which is higher than hers. She basically quit the business. And I called her, I said, Sherry, why are you not doing this business? Because I mean, you already have me on one side. Why don't you create another rank on the other side? And she goes, Renee, you're moving so fast, and in this comp plan, I can't keep up with you. There's no point in me doing this business. And it's so messed up how ranks actually really do impact and hurt people in this industry. And so in our company, that doesn't happen. But also, let's say someone in your team were to lose a rank, then you would also drop down a rank and your income drops. And that's really demotivating to the point where a lot of times people end up actually quitting companies because they're going up the rank, but they're also going down the rank. And so again, in our company, we don't have this issue because you cannot derank. There's no deranking in our company. Once you attain that rank, it is yours permanently. Okay. And someone else going down in ranking your team also doesn't impact your rank either. And this is why it's so important that we built our own software from scratch. Because if you have to rent or buy or lease software from another software company, every change you want to make, the design of the system, you have to basically pay huge top dollars for. And most companies cannot afford to do that. So we actually have our own huge IT team. They do everything in-house. And that's why we can launch promotions like crazy because we make it ourselves. We have all these creative promotions because we designed the system ourselves. If you're renting the software to someone else, you can't do that. Ooh. I hope I've hit enough on this battery part because we have other stuff to cover. But again, I get so passionate when I talk about this our binary plan. Okay, here's our chart that just kind of shows you as your team's trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, what your income could look like. And again, for 2,000 people, we're only looking at them each putting in 150 PV per month. It's gonna make you 10 grand a month. Okay, but in reality, we're not even including all of the customers here. You might have 2,000 partners, and they might have like 10 customers each. That's 20,000 people. So your income is going to be a lot more than this. Okay. Other really important fact that we have a very high retention ratio. The average on the DSA for renewals is like 10%. For auto ship, it's like 6%. And we have about 8 times that. In some teams, I've seen some teams that started, even like Dr. Henry's team, sitting at about like a 60 something percent retention ratio, which is absolutely unheard of in the industry. There is a example here of how your binary commissions can work. We're going to skip that for today because you can take your time to go over it. It just says, if you were to introduce Bob and Mary, and Bob brought in, Jane, at the highest package, the LADE, you would have made $700 on sponsoring Bob and Mary. And then Bob, who sponsored Jane, made $350. Then in the actual CV, there's 1,800 CV, so you would have made $460 basically. But we're going to skip past that today because the really important thing here that I want you all to understand is, again, is this marketing allowance privilege. You saw before that when you have the power cycle of 5,400 CV, it pays you the $400 plus the extra $60 map. Well, that map, again, is towards your hotels, your flights, your meals, your business tools. Again, it has to go towards the teams that made you that map, all right? So if your biggest market for you was like Israel or or like Australia or something like that, you want to put it back towards those markets, okay? And then this is also another really important thing because I've seen other companies, other teams where what happens is, you've got a big team, growing team, and a big market is taking off. Let's call it, I don't know, let's call it Taiwan's taking off, for example. And we've seen other companies where leaders start fighting about who's going to pay for the flight to go there. It gets crazy. In our company, you have this map here, and it's designed to go to support the markets where the volume came from. And let's say we have 5 leaders, me and 4 other leaders, we can combine our map to paying for one leader to fly down there, do the trainings, do the presentations, do the team support. So we've thought about everything in this company. So there's no arguing when it comes to supporting the team that you should be supporting anyways. Okay. Now, a lot of people will also earn this monthly global revenue sharing. Now, revenue sharing normally, you can only get it if you're like this top leader in the company. In our company, even as a brand new lifestyle advisor, you can qualify for this revenue sharing. And how it works is that you can get 1 share, 2 shares, or 3 shares. And as long as you have purchased 450 of your own shopping credits, which is your own shopping for yourself, and you got 400 or 600 or 800 BQV, okay? And that basically BQV you get from either you launching people, you selling products, okay? Or you buying products. Basically, for example, if you had 450 shopping credits and you launched, let's say, 2 new LA or higher partners, you're going to qualify for pretty much, like 3 shares, okay? And each share is $150. So for 3 shares, it's $450. So a lot of people are earning an extra $450 every single month just from this monthly global revenue sharing. We also have what's called the Lifestyle Advisor Team Bonus. And this is crazy because sometimes, people who launch smaller packages end up trying to push their people to join the higher packages. You don't really have to do that here in a very negative way. So don't forget, right? If you are a brand partner, your discount was how much as a brand partner? It was a 20% discount, right? So if you are a LA or higher, your discount was at least 30% or higher. So the brand partners, every single time they order products, they're paying 10% more, right? Because they have a lower discount. So what this personal team bonus does is every single time the brand partner that you personally introduce orders products, you will always earn that 10%. That extra 10% that they pay does not go to the company's pocket, it goes into your pocket. So you don't have to be like trying to force everyone to go from BP to LA. I mean, you should educate them on why it's good for them to become a lifestyle advisor, but you don't have to go and like force people to become an actual lifestyle advisor because you will earn 10% every single time they buy products, okay? And of course, on May, when we launch the new BP, you're going to see how and why this will become a huge pay for you later on. Of course, we have the fast track bonuses, right? And the mentorship bonus. And this is where you want to get to the first rank as fast as possible for many reasons. And that's called Lifestyle Director 1. How do you get there, first of all? Real simple. The Lifestyle Director 1, okay, which is the first one here, LD1, this little logo here, okay, is where you basically introduce 2 people, okay, who are LAs or higher, and those two also introduced their own two people. Okay, so this person brought in their two, so that's their Gen 2, and this person brought in their own two, which is also your Gen 2. Now, it could be on opposite sides, which is nice, or it could be on the same side. So your Gen 1 could be here, and your other Gen 1 could be over here. And then they brought in their first two, and they brought in their first two. Okay, so so again, you can actually rank advance by having everyone on one side from LD1 even to LD2, but to get to LD3, they have to be on different teams. That's why I suggest to try to build it balanced on both of your sides from the very beginning. But again, it could be on one side for the teams that kind of take off, all right? Once you reach LD1, when it happens in the first 30 days, okay, you will earn an extra $500, excuse me, cash bonus. And so basically, the LAs that join cannot be the free positions, okay? They must be the paid for positions, all right? LD2, in 90 days, you get a bonus $1,000 cash. And to become LD2, it's simple. You know how LD1, you had the first two that brought in their first two, and that was LD1? Well, LD2, these four people down here will bring in their own two. So you have 8 more down below, okay, in your LD2. And it's for LD3, it's the same thing. It's always by twos, always by twos. You can see here that if you hit LD3 in 1 year, you get a $5,000 bonus. LD4 in 2 years, 5 more grand in cash, a Rolls Royce executive car service or exotic vacation from airport and back, plus a $10,000 shopping spree. Presidential in 2 years, up to 50 grand bonus. RLD in 3 years, up to $100,000 bonus. Okay, and of course you also have the mentorship bonus, which means that let's say you sponsored me, and I reach this bonus over here, I get $1,500. You would collect 10% on top of that, so you collect $150 for being my mentor, basically. Okay, and it applies for all of these. Okay. Now, but the other key reason, really important, why you want to reach LD1 is because you unlock for yourself the variance bonus. And the variance bonus is designed for leaders who come on board and they start sponsoring a lot of people. What always happens is that they go from team recruiting and sponsoring to team supporting. So now they're supporting the whole entire team. And again, what usually happens is that now their income might drop because the wholesale profit, the sign-up bonus is gone. They're waiting for their team commission. So we filled that gap with this variance bonus. So what happens here is every single time a new LAP is launched, the system will ask, okay, well, who is the sponsor of this LAP? And that sponsor earns, if they're an LD1, okay, if they're an LD1 that we just talked about, they're going to earn an extra $50. But it doesn't stop there. Then that person's sponsor also earns $50, and that person's sponsor also earns $50. That person's sponsor earns 25, the sponsor above 25, the sponsor above 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. It's even more for the LAD, 100, 75, 50, etc., etc. So, there's people like no jokes. There's a gentleman who just got started probably like 2 weeks ago. And they're going to hit this cap of $2,000 in their first month alone because their team's growing so quickly because of this variance bonus. So it's really important to really unlock yourself the LD1 because it's going to add more free money into your pocket. Okay. Again, all you have to do as an LD1 is just make sure you pay 250 PV per month. But again, this is where things start to double dip because to qualify for the MGRS bonus, you had to pay 450. Well, the 450 already covered the 250. So now you're collecting the variance bonus and you're collecting this revenue sharing and you're probably collecting the fast track bonus. So in the end, I want to show you a quick example of how much you can actually make, just from all of this together. Okay. Now, the next bonus here is called the commission boost. And this is where, if you think about it, we are a binary system. We all know that. Well, by now we do. But the variance bonus is actually a unilevel bonus. It's based upon who sponsors who. So we actually kind of combined the commission, the unilevel um, pay with, of course, our own binary pay as well too. Okay, so the variance bonus is a unilevel bonus, and so is this commission boost. What happens here is for your first three layers, okay, for example, if this person down here bought a product that was commission boost qualified, that would basically be Divine or our Arctic Vita collagen line for now, okay? What happens is that they're buying it not using the shopping credit, but buying it with like a credit card, okay? Then the sponsor earns 4% of that purchase. That person's sponsor, if they are LA or higher, earns 4% and also 4%. So in other words, if you brought in somebody that brought in somebody that brought in somebody like A, B, and C, every single time A, B, and C bought product, you earn 4% from all of them, basically, on the commission boost qualified products. Okay, so we also have like it's a really cool. We have this unilevel pay within our binary system as well too. Okay, but again, if you brought in 12 people or one person bought 12 products, right? This can really add up to become a lot of money for you on a monthly basis, all right? Because it's your first few generations on what they buy. But also is now we're getting to the car club. As an LD1, you can earn an extra $500 cash into your e-wallet for reaching LD1. Now, if you don't have a car or you don't want a car, you can actually choose to get double the amount in shopping credits. So I qualified for this bonus last month. This $2,000, $2,000 shopping credit a bonus. I could have chosen $1,000 cash, but I chose $2,000 in shopping credit because I can buy that product and I'll sell it for more. So I can take my 2K and flip it to 3K or 4K instead of taking $1,000 in cash. So if you're good at selling products, which we could teach you how to do that, you always choose to get the products instead of the actual cash. Okay. And of course, to qualify for that, the car qualifications are in each of the ranks. Like each of these pages refer to each of the different ranks that we have. And essentially, if you were to launch a new person every month, have enough group volume, do your own 450 PV, and have enough of your first generation doing enough sales, then you're going to earn the car bonus basically. Okay. Of course, after that, it goes from 500 a month, 750, 1,000. I'm an LD4, so I get $1,500 per month, or I can choose 3 grand in products, and then of course we sell that as well too, right? You have the exotic, and of course, PLD and RLD as well too. Now, in terms of the luxury travel program, as you reach to LD2, you also get a free cruise. We have 2 cruises that we normally rotate every other year, either Caribbean cruise or Asia cruise. LD3 is a 4-day headquarter or resort experience. LD4 is like a 7-day headquarter or luxury vacation. And by the way, when I actually got to LD, this today we were all supposed to have been in Dubai for our 21st year celebration. Of course, with the things happening, near Dubai, that whole thing got canceled. But all of our LD3s and LD4s were going for free to Dubai, absolutely for free, right? Of course, so that's going to be revamped, and now of course we're doing it back in Toronto. By the way, if you're watching this video and you haven't gone past some time of late summer fall of 2026, you must come to our next convention, which was supposed to be in Dubai. It's now happening in Toronto because we have a launch of a brand new product, which is of course 90% cacao chocolate infused with fountain of life. I'm telling you guys, this new chocolate line is going to blow up the company in huge ways. On top of that, you can visit our world-class award-winning Mayor's Award showroom. We're also, of course, doing events, just massive events, special events at our CEO's very special, mansion by the coast. And of course, we have a Niagara Falls trip planned. There's so much things going on. And of course, we're doing another fashion show is also in the works. So, we had thousands of people come to our last fashion show. So you don't want to miss the next event that's happening, of course, in Toronto. PLD, we have, first class business travel credits. And of course, also the Royal Lifestyle Director, even more to 40 grand. Okay. Now, my goal is to become presidential. I'm very close. And that's because once you hit presidential, on top of everything you've seen here today, the company will pay to you an additional 0.5% of all of your volume all of your volume on both of your legs to infinity. So if you're doing $5 million per month by then, in sales, well, guess what? You're going to be getting an extra $25,000 check just for being in this PLD. And at RLD, it's going to be basically 1%. Okay. And of course, when you reach the Royal Lifestyle Director, you're going to receive a fashion bonus. You get a pick about a $100,000 gold watch timepiece or a diamond ring. And that's your choice for you to pick as well. Okay. Wow. So I hope I was able to do this in under an hour time. I know it's a bit of a different training than what I'm normally doing, but I'm really trying to highlight the differences between our company and a lot of the other sort of binary systems out there. I know you have more questions. I do have detailed training videos on my YouTube channel where I go over each of these in much more detail. But for today's purposes, I want to make sure that I just go over really things that I've been having a lot of conversations with other giant leaders in the industry who are joining us and then that are working with us here. And yeah, so that being said, I appreciate your time this morning and tuning in here and wishing you all a fantastic rest of your Saturday morning. If any questions, I can stick around for a bit longer, but I will turn the call back to our amazing hostess with the mostest. Yes, Cheryl Ann, the call is back to you. Thank you so much.
Wow, what an amazing presentation. You see why Renee is second in terms, second time the President's Award Cup winner. Renee focuses on where the money is. He knows where he's making his money. And let's all get into that comp plan and understand it so that we can realize where we're going to make the money. Our CEO always says, don't leave the money on the table. Make it, make it, make it. So Rennie is focused. Rennie continues to lead. He is always accessible to all of us. We send him a text within minutes, half an hour. He's always responding. Have that spirit of humility. Build your team. Encourage those around you. Remember, the strength of a leader is in humility. So you help each other along the way. And of course, you use your products and you take pride in what you do. And the sky is the limit. We're making good money, good, honest money. And we're touching and changing people's lives globally. So we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us. Renee, you are awesome. Continue to attain the President's Cup Award. This gentleman is focused. He is focused. And the
Thank you
beauty
so
of our
much,
business.
Cheryl Ann. Thank you. And you know what? Actually, I think this year there's too many other incredible leaders in our company. It's going to be really hard to see who wins actually the President's Cup in the future. But I have an idea who might be, but it's a tough one. So, but again, thank you so much for the amazing hosting, and of course, yeah, we're always here for you, everybody. Any questions or that you might have in the future, please make sure you ask your My Five. And yeah, thank you for so much again, Cheryl, and for the amazing hosting today. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, and see you on the call on Monday. Thank you. We have Sunday evening. We have Jazz and Dr. Henry. Zoom in on the call. It's also an excellent opportunity to learn about our products, to hear the testimonials of people who are taking our nutritive supplements and who are also using our oral and skincare products. It's an excellent opportunity to learn the value that we're bringing as nutritive and as unique refined products on the market. So thank you. See you on
One
the
team,
call.
one dream, one
One
system,
team, one
one
dream,
dream,
one
one
system,
system,
billion the
building the
billions.
billion. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank
Good.
you. Bye
Bye,
now.
everybody. Bye, 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 bye.